Karen is a kind, thoughtful, quiet person, but she always has an impactful, well thought out response to both her fellow classmates, to her professors. Really, really enjoyed working with Karen.
Karen is one of the more driven and committed people I've ever been around. She's one of the few people I've ever coached that never complains about anything, at least doesn't show it, not outwardly. So it's just whenever you tell her to do something, accomplish something, she does it. And so her commitment level to whatever the task is, I always thought was the most impressive thing about her, and just her commitment level to get better at what she needed to for whatever we needed her to do. You know, she told me early on in her career that she wanted more of a guard, and we had her play in the post, but you would never have known that she had any other interest than what we had to do, because she just competed.
Homesick, I thought, came together really nicely, and I loved it for multiple reasons. The first one being that it is something that is close to Karen's heart. We've had many discussions about how the pandemic has affected how often she's able to see her family, which has not been at all since the pandemic started. And so it's something that was very and is very close and meaningful to her. And then also the fact that she used multiple disciplines in her work. She wasn't thinking in terms of just two dimensions. She had installation, she had digital work, she had hand-painted, hand-printed work. So I really appreciated the multidisciplinary nature of how she wanted to create an experience for her viewers.
Basically, I just wanted to channel kind of feelings of missing home that I've had over the past 3 or 4 years that I've been in the States without my family, because it is the longest that I've really been away from being in Misawa. I grew up my whole life there, so I just wanted to use the exhibit as a way to just kind of recreate everything that I miss and love about it, in a way to reconnect with it, just being really far from it for a while. So yeah, I just use it as a way to tangibly have all the things that I love and miss about Japan.
This is the koi fish pond sculpture that I made. I wanted it, it's pretty much an installation because I had to kind of put it together in the space, so I can't really necessarily take it places, but it's a koi fish pond that I made because any little pond of water in Japan and stuff is mostly filled with koi fish. There's not typically a lot of other fish, so I have a lot of memories of just chilling by bodies of water and stuff where I get to feed the koi fish whatever I had. Sometimes it'll be chips in my ice cream cone. I just throw it in there and they'll overlap to eat it, and my mom would think it's gross, but I used to do it a lot with my dad, so that's why I made this sculpture. So this is a painting I did on acrylic on canvas, and basically it's a giant float. It's part of a festival called Nebita Matsuri in Japan. That was something that I actually participated in when I was younger. I wore the whole outfit, I did it with the whole family. My grandma was a part of it, and my uncle who's actually a monk was part of it. He was a big part of being a part of the festival. So that's a memory that I kind of cherish. That was really fun. We walked 8 hours down the street pulling a giant float while everybody on the streets were watching. So I just kind of recreated that on canvas because that's something pretty significant when you live in Aomori. So, and I live kind of near there. My grandma especially lives there. So it's actually called Karaoke Place right off the base, and to a lot of people that kind of doesn't make sense right off the bat. But I lived on a military base growing up in Japan. So right off the military base, when you go into just rural Japan, I always am greeted to this karaoke sign that is just large and obnoxious with its neon lights, and I've always really liked that about it at nighttime. This is actually a digital drawing that I did. I just created it using reference photos of it during the day, and I kind of just recreated it in a nighttime setting. So this is a calligraph print that I created in my printmaking class as well. It was actually my first attempt also at making a calligraph print, but like the other one, I kind of made it within the theme of my senior exhibit, so I decided to throw it in there because it turned out pretty good. But basically, this is just, inspired by the Japanese demon mask and other masks that be in Japanese plays and stuff, so I just kind of recreated it as something that I grew up seeing a lot of. So this one is a sculpture I made. It's called a yakiniku table. It's because in Japan, there are restaurants where they have grills in the middle of the table like this, and they would call that place yakiniku, which just translates to cooked meat. And basically, you go there, you order plates of raw meat like this, or like raw sausages, raw vegetables and stuff, and as a family or whoever you go with, you just cook it yourself in the middle of the grill. They'll have sauces, they'll give you soup and stuff like that. And I made it because that's something I used to do with my family a lot in any like celebration type setting. My dad really loved going there. I just had a lot of memories of going to all different types of yakiniku places, so that's why I created this sculpture. So this is a big sculpture that I decided to make. It actually says Omatsuri, it means festival, and this is the festival stand. That's something I miss about being in Japan. They have big stands and stalls with overpriced food and stuff that I used to get all the time. So something I used to always get would be like this banana on a stick, like dipped in chocolate. So I just kind of like recreated that along with some other things that they typically be having. I don't usually get these other items, like this is just chicken in a bowl, and that's just like noodles in a little. This is like a sculpture that I made. It's in the shape of a window. It's called Teru Bozu, but it's only because of these like little ghosts hanging things that it's called that. It's because in Japan it's actually a charm, and it's supposed to like bring good weather if you put it up. So I tried to make the background kind of look like it was not such a good weather, and yeah, and then the faces on them are also like this inside joke, like Japanese thing. It's actually made up of Japanese letters, and people and like kids and stuff in Japanese school, they'll be like writing it everywhere because it makes up a face. So that's just why I put them on the little ghost things. This one, a lot of people think that this is a Coke bottle and stuff, but it's actually a tiny energy drink about like this big. And it's called ornamency, so that's why I called the screen print ornamency. This is actually my first time doing a screen print, and it's supposed to be like 3 layers because I didn't have my printmaking class, so it actually turned out pretty nice. And because it was within my theme of my senior exhibit, I just decided to throw it on there.
I think the main thing that I learned from being at St. Mary, and the most important thing in my opinion, is just more about myself. I feel like I've grown over the past 2 years that I've been here and just learned more about myself, what kind of person I am in general.
You have the foundation to do great things and keep on working. I think that success will come if you keep chipping away at it. So, yeah. And good luck!